Welcome, January. It's Kristen here with Bariatric Mindset, helping you get back on track for the new year. The holidays are over, and I know that's a time where everybody in the office brings in candy, cookies, cakes, and it's really a very difficult time for weight loss surgery patients like myself and you, if you're watching, to really stay on track through the holiday season. So, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was how to combat regain and really get on back on track for the new year. So it's January. This is my first video of the new year. Hooray! Welcome. Join me. This is really about getting on back to get back on track after the holidays, because so much has happened, and I know for a lot of people there's regain that happens over the holidays. And sometimes it's not even the holidays at all that cause the regain, but it's January. And because everybody's focused on resolutions, this could be a time that you're like, yeah, I need to get back on track. So I've got some tips that I want to talk to you guys about today so that you can really conquer this regain, lose it for good, and get back on track to really start off the new year right, but also end it right as well. So if you don't know me, I am Kristen. I am with Bariatric Mindset. I am a 4-year VSG post-op, and I'm also a licensed psychotherapist and mindset coach for bariatric individuals, people who have gone through weight loss surgery. So I am going to start off by talking about my tips for you and for the coming year. So January, resolutions. Everybody wants to focus on them. Honestly, guys, resolutions just don't work. And I've been telling this to my clients, to my friends, to my family long before I was a VSG patient, because they just don't work. This is the time of year where you see all of the advertisements on television, and they're all focused on weight, losing the weight. And I don't know about you, but all of those years before I had surgery, I bought into that. And there was constant hope that that would be the answer. And for me, having bariatric surgery, having weight loss surgery was the answer. And following all of these tips that I'm also about to give you, which you already might know about, are really the way to create long-term lasting lifestyle change. And so that is really going back to your bariatric basics, the foundation that your surgeon's office gave you when you first started. And I would also highly suggest that you start small. And what that means is don't try to implement this huge plan of like, all right, I got to get back into the gym. Okay, I've got to get my water. Okay, protein, this, that. Like, yes, all of those things are important and they're all necessary for the foundation, because that's what we all talk about. Fresh, right after surgery, what are you focused on? Getting your protein in, getting your water in, getting some movement in. Initially, after surgery, you're not supposed to be exercising because you're healing. But for those of you who are, multiple years out like I am, if you're trying to get back on track, it's not that you're not going to move your body, but maybe you're going to ease back into it instead of trying to go 5 days a week for an hour a day, because again, that's too overwhelming for your brain. And what I mean by that is if you hit the ground running too hard, too fast, like resolutions would, by week 3, you're burnt out because your brain is not able to keep up, because you've honestly tried to implement too many things too soon, too fast, and it's too much. So what happens is your brain goes into overwhelm and you can't sustain it. You're busy, I'm busy, we have busy schedules. It's important that you create lasting change by starting small. So trajectory, right? When we think about like physics, like we think 0 to 60, right? Our brains are not made to go 0 to 60. What we're made to do is really build off of these steps to create that lasting change. So 28 days to build a habit. I would start by suggesting that you do meal planning. So meal planning, meal prep, which also focuses on getting your protein in, getting your water in, because those are the two most important things. And then Obviously, if you're an RNY or a VSG patient or duodental switch, whatever your surgery was, or even lap band, it's important that you focus on lowering your carb intake. So really watching that. There are tons and tons of recipes out there. And honestly, I don't think it's about the food so much. It's important that you meal prep and you meal plan. That's about the food. But the whole mindset piece about staying on track, that's not so much about the food. It's about the emotions that go with it. I'm going to talk about that in future videos because I think so many individuals who struggle with regain has a lot more to do with emotions than it actually does the food, because the connection to the food, the emotional attachment to the food, is what may have caused the regain. Am I right? Okay, back to getting the regain off. So start small. Create small, realistic goals for yourself and really plan it out for the week. So look at what your week is like and set yourself up for success. If you know you're going to go out of town, look for, because I know I have clients that travel, look for restaurants or food or different places that are going to help you to stay on track. Okay, so look at your week, break it up into small daily tasks. Like, how can you maybe get a small workout in? YouTube has amazing free videos. I'm sure that there are tons of YouTube channels that you can find that have workouts, 10-minute workouts, 15-minute workouts that you can squeeze into your day to start off with. I always tell people you don't have to run out and get a gym membership just because it's January, because they're typically packed. Why not work out at home and see what you can get from that? And then in February or March, join the gym when you're increasing the amount of time that you're spending at the gym. And maybe you need to then strength train and things like that. So start small. If you're getting back on track, you haven't worked out in a while, do something at home. There's plenty of activities. If you have a Fitbit, track your steps, all of that kind of thing. It's important that you focus on the mindset first, because you getting back into some level of action is going to make a big difference in terms of habit creation, forming these habits. But so often I see people who go out and they're like, okay, I'm going to get this meal plan. I'm going to have them deliver food for me, or I'm going to join this gym, and then they don't follow through. So my goal here is to help you with the mindset piece, because by starting small and not overwhelming yourself, you're more likely to follow through than if you go out and get these things. A lot of times people will think like, oh, I have to go and buy the gym membership because that's going to force me to go. I know tons of people who have gym memberships who actually never go to them. So there's nothing against the gym. I have a gym membership, but I actually go, and I love it. But it was also something that I trained myself to do after working out at home quite a bit before I went and splurged on that gym membership. So the second thing is to really be clear about what you want to accomplish. A lot of times, I love SMART goals. The specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, measurable, or and then trackable. So it's important, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time oriented. So give yourself like a couple weeks, and it doesn't always have to be a number on the scale. It could be a size, or it could be a couple pounds if you want to lose that. But focus on what it is that you want to accomplish or what you want to achieve. Maybe what you want to accomplish is just being able to eat on your meal plan for a week. I know tons of people that they make a meal plan and then they go off plan, right? So it's important that you're clear about what you want to achieve. And if it's that you stick to a couple workouts a week, then that's your goal. So it's also important that you focus on the short term in addition to the long term, because if you have this huge goal that's too far out there in the future without any short measurable goals, then sometimes you can feel defeated right away because you're not making any progress, or you're not taking as much action as you need to. But then that goes back to starting small. You've got to start small in order to gain that momentum over time to really take off. So be clear about what you want to accomplish. Write it down. Writing it down actually makes it concrete for you. Put it on your calendar. Get a calendar or a chart or something so that you get excited about what you want to accomplish. And so then you look at that every day, and that also helps you refocus your attention, not only on the goals, but on the action steps that are necessary for achieving them. Number 3, avoid triggers. So, I don't have any more cookies or cakes or any of that stuff in my house because I got rid of them. And actually, it was really funny because last week I had some cinnamon rolls in my house that my mom brought mid-December that ended up getting put on a top shelf because I don't eat those nasty things. And I had some Oreo cookie balls that I had to throw out today, and I ended up giving some of them to my sister. But I was actually really good about not eating that stuff over the holidays. I did have a couple sugar cookies, I will confess. But overall, I think it's important that you toss out all of the stuff that you or your family are not going to eat. Now, I also know that there's stuff in your house that maybe your kids eat or your husband eats or your wife eats or somebody in your family eats that you don't eat. And you might be saying like, Kristen, that's a trigger for me. It's in the house. I'm going to want to eat it. It's important that if you know it's in the house, that you put it away, out of sight, out of mind. And if you're one of those people that's like, I don't care where it is, I'm going to find it and I'm going to eat it, then it might be important that you talk with a food addiction counselor or a psychotherapist or counselor about either food addiction or emotional eating, because if the stuff is in the house and it's really getting to you that much and you're looking for it, there's something deeper going on there with food, and that's something that you'll want to address. So if it's in the house and you're able to make peace with it and like, okay, it's there, but it's not for me, and you're able to refocus your mind and attention on your meal planning, on your goals, then that stuff is not going to bother you. You're going to be training your brain. Either way, you've got to train your brain that that's not for you. That's not on your plan. It's not serving your body. It's not serving your goals. It's not where you want to go. And if you're really struggling with it, or if you happen to go, I know where the Oreos are, or I know where this is, or I know where that is, and it's triggering you on an emotional piece, right? Then that's also important to understand what it is about the food that's calming you, or what it is about the food that you're reaching out for, because this is not something, stomach surgery, it's not brain surgery. As a 4-year VSG post-op, even doing these videos are sometimes a huge trigger for me, because that's one of the things that comes up for me is the stress. So it's important to know what your triggers are and then what to do about them. So the thing that I would say is avoid trigger traps, avoid drive-throughs, avoid places and things that get you stuck in short-term quick fixes. So if you don't have a meal plan, if you don't know what you're making for lunch or dinner, and you're like, I'll just go pick something up. Yes, there are healthy choices. However, there are much more unhealthy choices than healthy choices. And so it's so important that you set yourself up for success, because I love that quote, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I really strongly believe in that. So meal planning, prepping can really help you stay focused on your goals. So avoiding the traps and the triggers, avoiding the junk food in your house, avoiding the junk food outside of your house, both are important. And if you're triggered by them, I would highly suggest that you get a journal so that you can write down what it is about the feelings that you're experiencing that are drawing you to the food. Or a lot of times I'll even suggest to people that when you have your phone, speak into the phone. If you're not a journaler, speak into your phone, share what your feelings are into the phone, play it back and listen to it so that you can hear yourself. It gives you a different reflective understanding of what is going on in your head. So that is an amazing tool that I'll use with clients as well. So avoiding the triggers and the traps, this is actually a broad topic in and of itself, because a lot of times emotional eating and eating off plan is a habit. So it's important. That's why I say self-awareness is huge here, because if you're not aware that you're eating off plan, then you're going and you're doing mindless eating instead of mindful eating. And mindless eating is where you're just going into the kitchen, you're having this emotional experience. It doesn't always have to be stress. I tend to know more stress eaters than not. But that's where it's important for you to know, okay, what is it that I'm hungry for? Right? So at that point in time, it's usually not the food. It's that you're trying to fill a void, or your brain is looking for that soothing, calming, the hormone that the dopamine when you eat. It's like right, especially sugar. So that's why we talk about like a sugar addiction, or where you are prone to eat to calm yourself down. So if you're having a trigger like that, it's important to know what feelings are coming up. And if you don't know what feelings are coming up, you can always look up a feelings list, or actually in my book, Bariatric Mindset Success, I have a feelings list in the back of the book to help people recognize what feelings are coming up. Because a lot of people don't know what overwhelm feels like, or what stress feels like, or what frustration feels like. So getting in touch with your emotions and feeling the feelings is the first step to working through them, so that you can really let go of the food and stop using the food to soothe. But the first step is practicing the self-awareness of knowing what your triggers are, so that you can work through them. And then number 4 is remembering your big why. So why is it that you started this journey to begin with? And sometimes if you are quite a few years out, like I am, your big why when you started might not be the same why that you have now. And if you've never seen or read the book by Simon Sinek, Start with Why. So I call it the big why, the big W, the big H, the big Y, which is totally different from, oh, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this? Which that kind of why throws you back into victim mentality. But the big why is the reason why you're doing something. And I talk to a lot of people who say, I want to get my life back, or once I lose the weight, this or that is going to happen. It's important that you recognize what your big why is beyond the weight, because the weight in and of itself is not your goal. Your goal is to achieve the weight for something else in your life, whether it's that you can live longer, or I know mine was so that I wouldn't die, so that I would be able to see my son grow up. So being over 400 pounds, just almost a year after he was born, that really scared me, because it was very hard for me to move around. I couldn't even imagine how, at that time, I had to carry him up and down stairs. I was constantly afraid that I was going to drop him or fall, and that was the fear that was in my mind. So my why was, oh my gosh, I need to take care of myself so I can take care of this other human being. And that's still part of my why today, but part of my why is a whole lot greater. So a lot of times what I'll tell people is, your why is not limited to just one thing, or just one sentence. Your why can be a whole lot bigger than that. It's just about digging deep enough to find it. Okay, so find or get in touch with your big why. Why did you begin on this journey? And is it the same today as when you started it? So getting in touch with your why is also going to help you get on track, because that's going to give you some of that internal motivation to plan the meals, to follow through with them, and to really start building your successes. Now, when I talk about success, it's also important that you celebrate your successes and track your progress. So tracking your progress is huge, because you've got to know what's going in your mouth. And if you are not tracking what you're eating, or if you're not tracking your meal plans, and then you're sticking to your meal plans and following through, then you might wonder, because I know this happened to me way before surgery, and now I track what I eat. But before it was like, why have I not lost any weight this week? Or why have I not lost any weight in the last 2 weeks? Like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, but actually I wasn't, because there were M&Ms here and chips there and crap here and crap there. And so when I started tracking, I was like, oh, then there's nuts, or then there's this, or then there's that. So when you track, it really causes you to refocus your attention to stay on track with your plan and really track your progress. So if you lose a couple pounds, you know why. If you've gained a couple pounds, you know why. And it's also important that you practice compassion if you do go off plan, not beat yourself up, but refocus your attention on your goals, on what you want to keep you moving forward. And then with that, celebrate your successes, celebrate them, even the small ones. Even if it's like, I stuck on plan today, I said no to the chocolate, and all of these things. It's so crucial for your mental and emotional health, because for so many people, we focus on what we didn't do, or, oh my gosh, I ate that piece of chocolate, or, oh my gosh, this happened or that happened. It's so important that you celebrate your positives, that you celebrate your successes. Even if it was, yes, I said no to that chocolate. They brought in donuts. I didn't have it. I just had my protein shake, or I just ate on plan. I went to the gym today, even when I didn't feel like it. These are huge, huge successes, even though they feel small in the grand scheme of things. So it's important that you celebrate them, that you write them down, and you track them just like your progress, because it's gonna allow you to see how far you've come and refocus you to where you're going. So I hope that these tips help you get back on track after the holidays, refocus your attention to lose the regain, because really it goes back to basics, and really getting back on track after the holidays goes long beyond January. And I look forward to hearing all about your success. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. There's so many more videos coming, so make sure to get more goodies, that you subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking for additional support, head on over to Facebook. I've got a free Facebook group for individuals who are looking for that accountability and support. It's Bariatric Mindset Mavens on Facebook, and you can find me there. And just don't forget to subscribe, because I have more videos coming, more tips coming on how to shift your mindset after weight loss surgery to keep the weight off and live your best life. So again, Kristen with Bariatric Mindset, thanks for joining me, and have an amazing January. See you soon.